Hey everybody, welcome back. The Run 245, Coach Kresge here. So we got a mini bike. Doesn't run, flat tire, pretty disgusting. First thing, take off the engine. I wiped it off a little bit. Take off the air filter, and you have the carburetor. So first thing you do with an engine that's been sitting, take off the carburetor. This is just a 5/16 deep well. Take the nuts off. Okay, so now that you disconnected the gas line and the throttle, comes right off, and then we take apart the bowl and spray some carb cleaner through all of the jets. So now that we have the carburetor off, this is the bowl right here. This is the bowl, and this is the float in the carburetor. That just goes on right there. I took this one nut of the top. So take that out, a little bit of gas is gonna spill everywhere. And then this little pin right here, pop that pin out, which holds the float in. Set that to the side. And then what should come out is your float and your float needle. This is the float needle. You can just pop that right out. Make sure not to lose the little spring on it. So then these two holes, you have the main jet and the other jet. Now they should just take a flathead screwdriver right here. Feel that seat in. They're very corroded. I'll try a little bit bigger screwdriver. So we're just going to try and blow them out and see if that works. So these are just little rods of different gauges, and we will try and poke it through the jet. That one's too big. We'll try a smaller one. So this is the little hole right here that float pin goes through, and that seals off the carburetor, or that seals off the bowl so the bowl doesn't overfill and spill everywhere. So that's nice and clear. I cannot get it through. So these just have little holes in them where the fuel gets sucked up. We'll try and screwing it one more time. And that is a no. Let's try a different method. First, I need to get all that gas out of here. So now we have the bowl. This is the intake, and that is the what goes into the cylinder. This is the throttle right here. As you can see, it moves that. That's open, that's closed. And this is the choke, closed, open. And then this is just the fuel switch, on and off. So what we're gonna do, get your carburetor cleaner, and we're gonna turn this on. And first we're gonna blow out this and make sure it's working. Sorry, that wasn't my phone. I am not sure. Yes, it is. You can see that bubbling coming right out there. So that's how you know that's not clogged. So and then we'll get it in the main jet right there in that hole. And it shoots it everywhere. Hopefully that's clear. Get all this gunk out of here. Get a little towel. Because you do not want all that stuff in your carburetor, otherwise it'll just clog it up again. Wipe it out, wipe off around it. We'll just give this whole carb a wipe down. The other thing, so if you open this up, You can see it goes through. We're going to clear out the barrel. Clear out these two little holes. I'm going to use some nice high pressure to blow anything out of it. You see carburetor cleaner is just going everywhere. You probably don't want this on your hands, but... And then, the last thing you want to clean off, you got your bowl, or your bowl cover, which is this thing right here. Wipe that all down. Shiny. So, this is all mostly cleaned out. It looks a little worse on camera than it is. But the reason why this can get all dirty, and then your carb can get all dirty, is letting gas sit in there. And also, your air filter and your fuel filter not working. So this motor doesn't currently have a fuel filter on it, but that means when they poured gas into it, they apparently got stuff in the gas tank. And you should change your air filter every once in a while. This is the float. You can tell it's still good. Wipe this off. It has a little bit of heat damage on it, but shouldn't be a big problem. Okay, so our float is cleaned now. Then you have your float pin, which has been sitting in gas, to clean it off. Just wipe it off real quick. Your pin, little bar that the float holds the float, wipe that off. So these are all of your pieces right there, and your spring, don't forget about that. So take your spring, put it right on the end, and then your float will go in. There we go. Now it sits deeper into it. The lid should go right on like that. You get your bolt, start it a little bit, and then I'm just using, this should be just a 10mm. Snug it up. Then get your ratchet on the end to torque it down a little bit. And that should be just a basic carburetor clean. So now we can install this back on the motor. Now, we have this 80cc mini bike engine. Carb is done, nice and clean. This is the clutch. We're going to take the clutch off, clean all this gunk around it, all that. We need another bolt for this, it's loose. And we're going to clean that up, and I'll show you how it looks after. So we just took the gas tank off and the flywheel, which is what this looks like now. And we also have the carburetor off, so you have this hole into the cylinder. And to block that, we're going to get a little paper towel and shove it in there so none of this gunk gets in the cylinder directly. Okay, we got the engine pretty clean now. So we're going to want to put in the side cover first. So it seats in, and you have 3 bolts. One right there on top, bottom corner, and the other bottom corner. We'll get those. Okay, now that we got that side cover installed, to put the clutch on, which goes right here. So it should just be a bolt. Goes on just like that. Unscrew this nut, or this bolt, sorry. So there's a little groove in here, that's called the keyway. Then in the clutch, there's also a little groove right there. You gotta line those up. Just like that. And then we're gonna put a little bit of thread locker on it, so this bolt won't come undone. A little bit of blue thread locker. Put that right on the threads. Basically just glue. And screw it back in. So, put the gas tank on, put the carburetor on, tried to start it up, it wouldn't start. So, used a little bit of starting fluid and it started right up. So the problem here is the carburetor. It's not getting gas into the cylinder. So I tried to clean it, didn't really work, couldn't get that pin out, and it's not a very expensive carburetor, just a cheap Chinese one. You can buy offline for $15. So that's what I'm gonna do, get a new carburetor and get it to run good. Next episode, I'll be cleaning that up and making it look pretty again. That's it. I'll see you on the next one.